Now, let's go.
LeBurnadier here with the second part of this James Bond doubleheader. This is GoldenEye on the Nintendo Wii. It's a loose reimagining of the N64 classic GoldenEye, also known as GoldenEye 64. Obviously, it was based on the film of the same name, starring Pierce Brosnan, and I say this is a loose reimagining because other than the title GoldenEye and some events in the game, there's very little in common with the game, and even with the movie. The only one returning from the previous movie, as far as cast is concerned, is Judi Dench playing M. Other than that, there's no returning cast. James Bond is played by the new James Bond, Daniel Craig, who also voiced Bond in Bloodstone, the other James Bond game, released on the same day as Bloodstone, by the way. As far as the level design and stuff, this is the dam. There is aspects of the dam that are similar, but they take it in a new direction. Now, some people, regardless if it's nostalgia or not, didn't like that of this new one, saying that it had very little in common, and in certain aspects that's true. But in my opinion, it was a good thing. I mean, if I wanted to play GoldenEye N64, I just pop it in on the N64 and play GoldenEye, right? So it's nice that they tried to do a little something different rather than just simply reskinning the old game. This is footage that's done by my friend Booyak85. This is not me playing. In fact, you wouldn't want me playing a Wii game, especially with the Wiimote and nunchuck. I'll probably make you sick, motion sickness. So it's probably a good thing. He's a little better at it than I am. We only really bothered to capture the first level. The main focus of this is actually going to be the multiplayer.
What the hell are they doing with one of those?
And he played a quick match online, and just to give you a taste of what to expect. Right here, you're going to see is a breaching sequence. It's coming up actually.
What the hell is happening up there?
Since this is made by Activision, and it's not made by Treyarch or Infinity Ward, but they're taking a lot of cues from the Call of Duty series. This is one of them here, the breach and clear kind of slow motion kind of thing. I've seen bits and pieces of the game. Like I prefer playing with the classic controller. I'm not much into the whole Wiimote thing, mainly because I'm not that good at it. But they definitely support the classic controller, and it's very similar to your standard shooter on the 360 or PS3. So if you're not really a huge Wii fan, but own a Wii, and you don't normally like playing first-person shooters with the Wiimote, you do have that option. Right, what you're seeing here now is your spy-esque type of stuff. Getting your research and things like that with your smartphone. And that's basically it for the single player. Overall, not a bad single player for the most part. If you like the original, you're probably going to like this one. There's enough new things in it to be worthy of a purchase. But the big question a lot of people ask is regarding online. I don't know about you guys, but when I think of GoldenEye, while I do like the single player, and there is some pretty awesome moments in that, specifically the train, it was the multiplayer for me that with 3 other buddies, and you know, getting your 3 other buddies along with you, and just having a whole night of gaming, right? You know, that was back in the day when we didn't have online on console, so it was a pretty big deal for people who primarily were console players. So it's kind of neat to see GoldenEye make it to the next gen online type of stuff. Now the thing with this is, for the most part, if it's Call of Duty, it really does feel like Call of Duty. even down to the ranking system and stuff. There is no kill streak rewards, or at least none that I'm aware of. So they didn't take those aspects from it, but just the ranking system and the way the gunplay is. It's comparable to Modern Warfare Reflex on the Wii, and it's to be expected. I mean, it is an Activision game, and you know, Modern Warfare Reflex was a very good game, so why not copy it, right? I mean, why not take the solid gameplay mechanics and make it your own. Now this is, I believe, just a basic team deathmatch, but they also have other modes as well. I can't remember exactly which modes. I know they had the Golden Gun mode, which was always a favorite of mine in the original. One thing I noticed when watching this and you know, playing it as well is the way your character runs. It just annoys me. I don't know what it is about it. Oh, here's something pretty funny. You can tell they're playing on the Wii, because look at this. Look at this guy. He's basically staring down at the floor, chasing my buddy around here. Quite the battle, but I think he was battling with the floor there. For the most part, though, I mean, if how do I say that? Like, if you only own a Wii and you're begging for some more online shooters, then by all means give this a buy. I mean, it's a solid shooter. Hopefully people continue playing it, not just because it's the new thing now, but people, hopefully they enjoy it and continue playing it, because it is a solid shooter for the Wii. Now, if you're someone who owns a Wii and 360 or PS3, PC, or any combination of those, is it worth a buy then? In my opinion, no. It's really not. The single player, while good, isn't as good, honestly, for me anyway, as Bloodstone. I've played this through once with my friend, and other than the initial one, I didn't really feel like I had to go back and play it again. Where Bloodstone, I've already completed it twice, actually working on a third time now, just to mop up some achievements. But I actually enjoy playing Bloodstone, and that's to say this is necessarily a bad game. I mean, there is some very good moments in it, including the tank sequence. They really upped the ante compared to the original, which obviously couldn't handle that kind of thing back in those days on the N64. I mean, it was really pushing the tech on the N64 at the time. As for nostalgia, if you're into GoldenEye, would you be interested in this? In certain aspects, yes, you would. I mean, it is a Bond game. I mean, and like I said, it is a good game. But I think if you have all this high hopes because of GoldenEye on the N64, you have like this memory of that, I think you might be disappointed, in my honest opinion. Again, it's not because it's necessarily a bad thing. It's just that other than the name and a few elements, and especially when it comes to the multiplayer, there's very little in common with the N64 Classic. But as an overall package, if you factor in the single player, which is a good probably around 8-hour campaign, if you're halfway decent with the game, I'm sure you can beat it. I'm sure there's people can beat it in a lot less, especially on your if you do multiple playthroughs. One thing I should mention, I forgot to mention, is that in the campaign they also have the various difficulties, like in N64. Specifically, which you don't really see a lot in shooters nowadays, is as you up the difficulty, more objectives are available. Meaning you have to complete more objectives in order to finish your mission. So in that sense, there's probably some replayability there. But as an overall package, if you're a Wii only gamer, it's probably worth a buy. I would say it would be worth a buy if you own more than one console, whether it's a 360, PC, or PS3. If you own any of those, I think save your money up for Black Ops. For online, if you want a Bond game, then by all means, I would say go with Bloodstone, since it is more of our original game. With this game, it's a great game, but I felt like there wasn't enough really to suck me back into the whole game experience. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that quick little look. I'll admit it wasn't the best overall view of it of GoldenEye. It was just my first glimpses at it. But anyway, until next time, this is LeBron98 signing off. See you guys.